Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kind of Funny Games Daily for Wednesday, June 30th, 2021. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing Adeoye Jr. Joining me is twitch.tv/Andy Cortez.
Good morning, gentlemen of the jury.
Andy, do you have your coffee of the day?
No, I don't, Bless.
No,
I don't. I'll tell you why, because we got a new refrigerator delivered yesterday, and I decided, you know what? In my backpack, I still got a Mountain Dew Rise. Let me go toss that bad boy into the refrigerator. Woke up this morning, grabbed it out, and it's tasting as good as ever. I think the refrigerator's made it taste better.
I might have missed the boat on Mountain Dew Rise. What's the pitch? Is that the energy drink version of Mountain Dew?
So they had a morning version called Kickstart, and it was like, drink Kickstart. It's the healthier, in quotes, alternative to Mountain Dew, and they put vitamin C in there, and it's supposed to sort of kickstart your day. But then a big switch happened, Blessing, where LeBron James said, "Hey, Sprite and Coca-Cola Company, I'm out. The homies over here at Pepsi, they want me to do a Mountain Dew thing. So I'm going to go over there." So this is his line called Mountain Dew Rise, and it's similar to Kickstart. It's a morning it's supposed to be a morning beverage. Caffeine equal up to approximately 2 cups of coffee, 5% juice, 0 added sugar, zinc, vitamin A and C, and antioxidants.
Okay. So what's the flavor then? Is it just regular Mountain Dew flavor, but it's more caffeinated?
Oh, no. They have a bevy of flavors. They have an assortment. This is pomegranate blue burst, which it is delicious. This is my favorite one. But they've also got like a strawberry melon. They've got berry blast. They have all sorts of really good. They have like 4 other flavors. I think 6 in total. And it is definitely my go-to Mountain Dew drink for now, at least.
Andy, I need your help with something, because for people who are watching the video version of KFGD, you can tell that I'm wearing a polo shirt.
Oh, yeah.
The polo revolution, as I'm calling it, started during our Mario Golf stream, where I revealed that legit half my closet is filled with polo shirts, and I just never wear them. Because polos were a thing I used to wear a lot back in the day. I wore polos a lot in high school and college, but I just stopped wearing them because I felt like the style came and went.
Yeah.
People aren't wearing polos as much. At least the people I'm hanging out with aren't wearing polos as much. And so I'm bringing back the polo. The thing I want your help with is, on a regular stream like this, do I rock the hat, or do I save the hat for special occasions like golf?
Can you put the hat on? Can you put the hat on, please? Oh, you rock the hat, yeah.
Oh, you think I rock the hat?
Yeah, I think you rock the hat, yeah.
All right, I'm rocking the hat.
It's one of those things, Blessing, where if you look cool enough, you can pull off a polo. If you look cool enough, I think you could pull off anything, right? It doesn't matter whether it's in fashion or not. And I think you're a cool looking dude, Bless. So I think you rock the polo, and it's just like, oh yeah, that's Blessing with his cool polo. But like, if I were to wear a polo like that, it probably wouldn't work. So yeah, I think you look cool.
Maybe I think you could rock a polo. You seem cool enough to rock a polo.
I don't think I've got a polo, honestly.
You don't have a single polo?
I will vamp. I will do the whole housekeeping while you get a polo on.
I don't think I just have long sleeves. I have long sleeve collared stuff, unfortunately.
Andy, next time I see you, I'm going to hand off one of my polos to you, and we're going to do a polo KFGD.
It's going to be skin tight on my fucking medium to large body.
Oh, yeah, it is. And you're going to look great in it. But enough about polos. Let's talk about Konami, once again, possibly bringing back Silent Hill, Control multiplayer game, and more, because this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday at 10 a.m. live right here on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. If you're watching live, you can correct us when we get stuff wrong by going to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong. If you don't want to watch live, you can watch later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, roosterteeth.com, or you can listen later on podcast services around the globe by searching for Kind of Funny Games Daily. To be a part of the show, to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, where bronze members or above get to write in, and silver members or above get the show ad-free with the exclusive daily post show. Housekeeping for you, that's right, it's Tim motherfucking Geddes' birthday today. Go and wish him a happy birthday over on social media. Tweet at him at Tim Geddes. Let him know that he's loved. Kevin, how old is Tim Geddes? He's 30, what, 33?
32.
32?
Age of Christ.
Age of Christ. I think 33 was the age of Christ.
Yeah, I know. I just
Kindoffunny.com/you're wrong.
anyone's near 30.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Go and wish Tim a happy birthday. Of course, we love Tim. But after today, forget all about that because my birthday is also approaching this Friday. So get hyped for that. It's gonna be a celebration on Friday. I don't know what we're doing yet. I think I'm hosting KFGD with Tim. And so me and Tim, you know what? I'm gonna say it now. Me and Tim, this Friday's KFGD is gonna be a birthday celebration. Me and Tim are gonna unite. I don't know what special thing we're gonna do. Maybe we'll expense some cake that both of us will eat.
We'll get some
on the show.
cupcakes sent to y'all. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, let's ponder on that. Let's figure that out. But that's going to be Friday's KFGD.
Someone has to do that though.
Yeah, I probably won't.
Yeah.
I'll DM myself. Hold on, I'm gonna DM myself a note on Slack.
Joey, you busy?
Forget.
Joey, you busy? Let us know in the chat.
Make sure.
Chat.
to
If Joey comes into the chat at some point, can you please give her a heads up that we need this?
Please, thank you, Joe.
This seems like a Greg Miller thing. Can you call Greg Miller? Bless.
Yeah, I got you.
And also, can you send me, Joe, the Pride shirt? The white one that I made? Thank you.
I'm calling Greg Miller. Give me a second.
He seems like the guy.
I just need to add this guy to my favorites on my phone because I feel like I call him more than I call anybody else.
Yeah, but a favorite is kind of stretching it.
Yeah, but I also don't use my phone as a phone. You know, I
maybe
use my
make
phone
a
to
group
text
called
people.
like acquaintances.
Just go to the recent.
Greg Miller from KindofFunny.com.
Greg Miller, you're live on KFGD. How's it going?
It's good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. I don't know if you're watching the show, but I came across the realization that both me and Tim's birthdays are this week, and we're hosting KFGD on Friday together. What is the process? How do I expense a cake for me and Tim to eat live on air?
I think honestly the easiest way would have it. You just tell us, we'll order it. It'll be delivered to you the night before, and then you can just have them both there. Or I mean, we could run cakes to you too. I guess that could be a way.
When you say we, who is we?
Man, that's where it gets complicated.
Big question.
If it's ordering, I don't mind ordering you both cakes. If it's running the cakes to you, Kevin, maybe that seems like a Kevin job.
I guess the thing to figure out is who is the most responsible. Like, who will remember to do this?
Well, you know what? I will call you back, or I'll join the Discord. Let me look into cake delivery and if I can schedule them in advance. You
Perfect.
need one and Tim needs one?
Yes, both me and Tim. Tim doesn't know yet, but he'll know when
tell
he
him
gets
I'd
the
like
cake.
one too.
He'll know.
I'd like one too.
Who's host? Oh, Andy's
It's
with
not
you
your
right now, right?
It's not your birthday.
Kevin also said
Kinda
he
is,
wants
though.
one too.
Okay, give me a bit and I will hit you up with options.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
All right, bye.
What a great guy.
It's not Kevin's birthday.
Yeah, but I didn't get a cake for my birthday, all right? And I like cakes, Andy. So don't make this about you. You want a cake too? Call him back. Tell him Andy wants a cake too. He just doesn't know how to ask.
He'll hop in the Discord. We can let him know that. The question is though, what kind of cake? Because I'm not a big frosting person. Usually my go-to kind of cake is ice cream cake, and I don't know why more people don't just go for ice cream cake as the default.
Yes!
I know plenty of us out here are lactose intolerant, but I'm lactose intolerant. I'll
It's
give a
worth it.
fuck. I'll take
It's
ice cream
worth
cake
it.
over regular cake
Oh
every
my
day.
God, ice cream cake's so good.
I think it's so easy to mess up an ice cream cake. That's my only
Are you
worry
joking?
with it.
When have you ever had a bad?
I've never had a bad ice cream cake.
If I could count it on my fingers, Kevin, I would.
You're right. It's too few. You can't even count it on your fingers.
If only I could, Kevin.
Damn. We got a few more pieces of housekeeping for you. Our Loki episode 4 reactions just got done recording and will be live on YouTube by the time you're listening to this episode. So go check that out on youtube.com/kindoffunny and on podcast services. Then right after this live episode of Kind of Funny Games Daily is another Mario Golf stream on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. This time, instead of Greg getting his ass beat by Andy Cortez, it's featuring Game Attack. So make sure you check that out right here on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames and later on youtube.com/kindoffunnyplays. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Donovan Harkness and Blackjack. Today we're brought to you by Credit Karma, Freshly, and HelloFresh, but I'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is, and forever will be, the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 4 stories today.
Baker's dozen.
Starting with our number 1. Andy, is it finally happening? Are we finally getting Silent Hill? I feel like we go through this now once a month where we get our hopes up. A thing happens and we're like, finally, this is it. But I will say this one seems like the most blatant of, okay, this is actually happening. Are we getting a new Silent Hill game from Bloober Team and Konami? This morning, Bloober Team on their website put up a press release, or not even this morning, yesterday after KFGD, they put up a press release titled The Strategic Partnership of Konami Digital Entertainment and Bloober Team. It reads like this, quote, "It is a historic day for me and the culmination of several years of our work. The fact that such a renowned company as Konami has decided to strategically cooperate with the Bloober team means that we also join the world leaders in gaming and became an equal partner for the leading players in this market, comments Peter Babieno, president of the Bloober team. As part of the agreement, the partners declared cooperation in the development of contents and the exchange of know-how. Quote, "We have been providing unique entertainment, content, and ways to enjoy it through the use of information technology. In the digital entertainment industry, significant changes in the business environment are expected in the future. We look forward to combining Bloober teams and our respective characteristics and strengths to create high-quality content."
God, this is the most PR shit I've ever read in my life.
This is the most press release I've ever read in my life. And that comments Hideki Hayakawa, representative director and president of Konami Digital Entertainment. Konami is known for global franchises such as eFootball, PES, Metal Gear, Silent Hill, Castlevania, and Contra, as well as the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game series.
How do you feel about a new Yu-Gi-Oh! Game?
Oh my, from Bloober team?
You excited? Yeah,
that'd be really interesting. I mean, I'd be hyped for a new Yu-Gi-Oh! Game, especially if it's more Duel Links.
Not too long ago.
Say again?
Weren't you calling for that? Like I
for a new Yu-Gi-Oh! Game?
Yeah,
I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Briefly. My thing is,
you said you wanted a new Yu-Gi-Oh! Game.
I don't remember saying that. And like the reason why I wouldn't care either way is that there have been so many Yu-Gi-Oh! Games over the years that I'm good. I have all the Yu-Gi-Oh! That I need. If I really wanted to play Yu-Gi-Oh!, I would just play Yu-Gi-Oh! The one that's on consoles that I always forget the name of. Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links is the mobile game. Chat, remind me of what the Yu-Gi-Oh! Game on consoles is. But like I've also gotten Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels of the Roses on PS2, which is an iconic Yu-Gi-Oh! Game with a fantastic soundtrack.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we were just joined by the one and only Greg Miller. Greg, how's it going?
It's great. How are you?
Doing good. What are your findings?
So this is mainly a question for Kevin, because as you know, if you do anything out of line or anything not in line with what Kevin wants, he will mock you and destroy you for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. So my question is this. It's true. Kevin, you and I have both eaten a lot of cakes in our day. All right. let's not. Yeah, exactly. Let's not lie. Let's not beat around the bush around here. I'm looking online for delivery options for everybody to get these things in a coordinated effort. And my question is this. It's not me trying to cheap out. It's trying to me give you the best quality of cake. Kevin, would you accept cupcakes? Like a sampler pack of cupcakes for everybody?
I would. I understand under normal circumstances, I would have issues with it. Like if we were in the office and you got a bunch of cupcakes.
Sure.
Like, look at this prick. Look at this prick.
That's my thing. It's like, I can either get you this cake from a place like 3.5 stars. That's not what I'm going to do to you people. You know what I mean? Or I can get you a cake for like $60 a pop, and I'm not sending $180 worth of cakes out. You know what I mean?
Like, I don't think any of us individually want to eat
the entire cake. It's just sad that the company doesn't love us $180 worth.
I mean, we do if I got to eat some of that cake.
You really figure out your own worth.
That's part of the problem.
Yeah.
It's like,
you can deliver yourself cake too.
Yeah, you have.
We can make this a whole company.
Now it's
there are two birthdays.
$240 worth of cake. You know.
All right, well, everybody birthdays.
He's telling us how much cake we're not worth. How much cake are we worth, Greg?
Yeah.
You know
what's
what?
the number? Put a number on it.
And I'll get back to you with delivery times.
All right.
Thank you, Greg. By the way, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Game I was thinking of was Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist. Like, if I really wanted to play a new Yu-Gi-Oh! Game, I would just play that game because that is Yu-Gi-Oh! Or I would find one of the billion Yu-Gi-Oh! Games that exist. That said, they did put out another Yu-Gi-Oh! Game. I'll play it anyway, because Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a fantastic card game. It's great. But coming off of that news of the partnership between Bloober Team, who you know from games like Observer, Layers of Fear, Blair Witch, The Medium, etc., and Konami, we got a report right after coming from Chris Scullion at VGC, who talks about how they're working on Silent Hill. The report goes like this. According to people with knowledge of Bloober's plans, one of the projects it's working on is Silent Hill related. However, VGC understands that Konami has already outsourced at least one other Silent Hill project to a prominent developer in Japan, and there could be even more developers working on their own projects. Bloober Team said in February that it was working on an existing horror IP from, quote, a very famous gaming publisher, end quote. Fueling speculation, it could be reviving Konami's Silent Hill. Andy, where are you at with all this?
I just Googled Silent Hill, and one of the first questions is Silent Hill a real story? A true story?
Based on real life events.
I feel like Bloober Team, this has just kind of been their audition for the last 5 years without them really knowing, and people have been watching them. And then finally Konami's like, we found him. We found the squad we need. And this is great for Silent Hill fans, I think. Now, I do wonder if the hardest core of Silent Hill fans really care about the actual team that's working on it, like whether they want a certain type of former directors on it, or whether just having the game come back at all is big enough for them. I wonder. I'm not amongst the fans of Silent Hill. I'm a little scaredy cat. I don't play scary games, except for Resident Evil, which I'm being forced to play. But that's neither here nor there. So I do wonder what people would prefer. I think the biggest news from this is that small mention of this isn't the only Silent Hill game being worked on. That's kind of the bigger thing in there.
Yeah. And this whole news is very interesting. Bloober Team is so Andy, I'm with you that I'm historically not the Silent Hill person, but from what I would expect for people who are into Silent Hill, getting that announcement of Silent Hills after we got that demo of PT, right, being worked on by Hideo Kojima, getting that canceled was probably such a blow in terms of this was going to be probably one of the best Silent Hill games. This is going to be this huge thing that was going to get so much support, so much budget and all this shit. And for that to be shut down was a heartbreaker for so many people, including me, because coming off of PT, I would have played Silent Hills because I love Hideo Kojima and I love PT. Getting that canceled and years later having Silent Hills be a Bloober Team project, I think comes with pros and cons. Bloober Team, not necessarily a developer I see as a top tier AAA level developer. I know there are people out there that really like the medium. I know people really liked Layers of Fear. I know there are some people that liked Blair Witch and Observer, but I'm sure on the list of developers that fans would want to work on a Silent Hill game, I don't know if Bloober Team would be the one. But you do make the point that they kind of have been auditioning for this for years, right? Like Bloober Team has been putting out these, I'll say, AA level horror projects for a while, and it's been kind of teeing them up to work on something bigger and greater. I want to bring in a question from patreon.com/kindoffunnygames from the Nano Biologist, who writes in to say this. What's up, KF crew? So Bloober Team has officially partnered with Konami, which has led many to think that they are the ones making a Silent Hill game. My question is, are they the right ones for this kind of game? I've played just about every one of their games, and the big thing is they each have about one main bad guy that you need to avoid, and their AI isn't great to say the least. Of course, they get better each iteration, but still, are you confident with Konami's pick? After playing the medium, what do you hope to see this potential Silent Hill partnership be? Thanks, the Nano Biologist. And Nano Biologist, I take that and I couple it with the part in this VGC article that mentions VGC understands that Konami has already outsourced at least one other Silent Hill project to a prominent developer in Japan. Now, that sentence makes it feel like it's that sounds like Hideo Kojima. When you word it that way, that sounds like Kojima's working on a Silent Hill project in the background. Now, that is high hopes. That is extrapolation. That is a lot of things. We also
let's not get too horny here. Let's not get
too excited here, right? We've also got reports from Jeff Grubb talking about how Kojima is working on a project seemingly with Xbox, and maybe Xbox partnered up with Konami to get Silent Hills. That we can extrapolate each and every way. But the thing that I take from this is that the Bloober Team Silent Hill project isn't the Silent Hill project. It is a Silent Hill project, which I think is a perfectly fine thing. I think it's that thing of, if you are bringing back the Silent Hill IP and you want to treat it with care, maybe the thing is you have a main game and you have a secondary game or a spin-off game or something that is tackling Silent Hill from different dimensions, where you can have the Hideo Kojima PT Silent Hill exist as that project, if that is the project they're working on, and then have this other project that is Silent Hill that is doing a different thing with the IP that is meant to be different. It's almost like Final Fantasy, where we've gotten Final Fantasy VII Remake, but that doesn't mean we're also not getting Final Fantasy 16, and we also got Final Fantasy Stranger of Paradise, which is going to be for a group of people. I see this as almost being like hey, this is us making Final Fantasy Stranger of Paradise, where just because it is Silent Hill doesn't mean it is Silent Hill. It's doing something that Bloober Team is good at with the Silent Hill IP.
Well, even playing, I think I played about 30 to 45 minutes of the medium. I mean, it is tank controls. It's got the creepy vibe. I think Bloober Team is capable. Like, I think we mentioned that, sure, they're not making these AAA quality games, but they're still high quality games, I think, at least. And I think enough people liked the medium and have liked their past works that, like Nano Biologist was mentioning, they are getting better each iteration. And who's to say that Konami's not going to say, hey, here's a shitload of money and hire the right people that you all need, right? If your AI wasn't as good and you got sort of criticized for maybe how enemies work in this game or maybe cutscenes worked in this game, let's improve upon that. And I think it's a team who's been working on scary, creepy games for a while. Like, did you play any of the Medium?
No, I did not.
Yeah, like it is tank controls, and I kind of just immediately was like, nah, I'm good. I like not only do I not super care about scary games, but also the whole tank control thing sort of threw me off. But it felt like that sort of traditional Resident Evil Silent Hill game where you walk into another room and your character's up at that doorway, and you walk through the room and you go through this door, now you're at a different camera angle. Like all of that shit was kind of identical to the way those old school survival horror games played. I think they are definitely the team to work on this. I'm excited for them to sort of have a big IP that they can sort of latch onto and say, hey, we've done stuff in the past. Hopefully you go check those out. And maybe this does sort of bolster sales for their old catalog as well, for any Silent Hill fans that say, oh, maybe I should check out these other games they've worked on. I think great for them, but I think you make a great point about Silent Hill just sort of becoming this universe of different properties, different stories being told.
And I think you make the good point too about Bloober Team being the team for the job in terms of who they are and what they make. You know, like none of Bloober Team's games that they put out have been for me specifically, but I do see plenty of people who do like the Medium, plenty of people who do like Layers of Fear, plenty of people who do like Observer and the other games that they've worked on. And for a developer that is making games for a specific type of audience, which is the horror audience, giving them a Silent Hill project to work on isn't a bad idea. And that could be a, hey, do your own take on Silent Hill, or it could be a, hey, do a remake of an older Silent Hill game, because this will fall in line with the scope of what you do, while we give a new mainline Silent Hill project to a different developer or a bigger developer.
Now,
like there's plenty of ways this could go.
I think the bigger worry that Silent Hill fans should have is not Bloober Team, it's Konami. How is Konami going to play with this? How are they going to play nice? Are we going to see any sort of clashings of executives or people at the head of studios? Like that's I think should be the main worry. Not necessarily what Bloober Team can do, because they've proven that they are a talented developer, and with some more money and resources, they can be an extremely talented AAA developer. But how does Konami play with that? Do they have the right people in charge, making the right calls, and people that understand the game, like the game development climate today, not the game development climate of 2015, 2016, whenever Phantom Pain was, you know?
Yep. Now, Andy, speaking of developer-publisher partnerships, story number 2, it looks like we're getting way more of control. We got a press release yesterday as well from Remedy that's titled, Remedy signs a co-publishing development agreement with 505 Games for a multiplayer spinoff of the game of the award-winning Control. It reads like this. Collaboration terms for a future bigger budget Control game are also agreed. Remedy has signed an agreement with 505 Games under which they will co-publish and develop a new 4-player cooperative PvE game codenamed Condor. Condor is a spin-off of the critically acclaimed Control game, which was published in 2019. Since its publishing, Control has been nominated for 11 BAFTA Game Awards and received over 20 Game of the Year awards.
Gary Whitta has 2 of those, by the way, 2 BAFTAs.
2 BAFTAs, yeah, it's really impressive. The new game will be built on Remedy's proprietary Northlight engine and tools. Condor will be available on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X. Quote, we are excited to continue and further expand our collaboration with Remedy. With over 2 million copies sold and revenue exceeding 70 million euros, Control is an extremely successful game, says Rami and Rafi Gallant, co-CEOs of Digital Bros Group. They continue, as a multiplayer game, Condor has the potential to engage the gaming community in the long run, contributing to 505 Games' product revenue stream longer than traditional games, end quote. In addition, 505 Games and Remedy Entertainment have outlined high-level collaboration terms to further expand the Control franchise with a bigger budget Control game to be agreed in more detail in the future. Quote, we have successfully collaborated with 505 Games for over 4 years and have both become stronger in our respective fields. We're happy to extend and deepen our partnership. This new agreement supports Remedy's aim to expand our games into long-term franchises, create benchmark-setting games, strengthen our commercial capabilities, and collaborate with great partners with whom we can succeed together, end quote. Andy, I know you are a big Control fan. I also really love Control. For you, what does this do?
I'm excited about a confirmed sequel. As far as the multiplayer stuff goes, god dang, we're getting a lot of multiplayer games in the next couple of years.
Yeah, a lot of
So
four-player PvE multiplayer games as well.
yeah, so I mean the multiplayer stuff, I'm not super surprised by. I feel like that's going to become more and more of a common thing, the way Ghosts did it. I think we're going to see more and more of that happen in the future. And like I've mentioned before, it's another way to have, income. It's another way to bring in revenue to the studio to hopefully pay for and, just bring in more money to hopefully pay for the next project, which is, I think, the one that I care about most for sure. This definitely seems like another project, though, that, like many of these multiplayer games, they come and go, and we might forget about them. We play them for a couple weeks, and then a new update comes out 4 months later, and then we go back to it for another week or whatever. I feel like that's just kind of the way the industry works now, and it's kind of starting to seem really samey with a lot of franchises. How do you differentiate yourself if you are? I think the bigger worry is that Control only sold 2 million copies, which I thought it sold a lot more than that. And how do you differentiate yourselves from Back for Blood and from Redfall, whenever the hell that is? Like, what is going to be the key thing that brings in players to your universe as opposed to all the other universes that are out there? Especially if you only sold 2 million copies. Like, I know that's a huge success for them. For some reason, I thought it sold around 5 or 6. So I'm kind of bummed out by those numbers. Please go play Control.
We talked about Control a lot when it came out in 2019 because 2019 was such a weird year for video games where we got a lot of like there weren't like the big God of Wars or the Red Dead Redemption. So we did get a lot of like cool games like your Controls and others that spoke to their audiences really well. And Control was a Game of the Year winner for so many outlets because it was one of the ones that stood out in that way because of the cool style and what it did with story and what it did with combat and how fun it was to play. For you as somebody who really likes Control, how much does it being a Control game, a Control four-player co-op PvE game, do for you as somebody who might be into the universe? Like, is that going to be enough to sell you, or would you need it to be a lot more than that?
I think maybe if there's really cool story implications, possibly, if there's maybe stuff that you need to play there in order to fully understand what's going to happen in 2. Now, granted, the Control story, pretty convoluted. Like, it's not the most easy thing to understand. It's something that I've had to watch videos on just to understand what the hell happened. But if there are cool story moments, if there are those sort of all the players get to a certain moment and there's a big cutscene and that cutscene has sort of hints as to what might happen in the future, I'm definitely going to play it. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm going to play it. It's just, I don't know if I will ever find another multiplayer ecosystem that I am dedicated to for a long ass time. That isn't Warzone. That isn't just a PvP type game. I think the last one I was into was maybe Destiny 2 when that launch happened, and I was into it for about a month, I would say. I don't know if there's anything like that that's going to get me in for a long time, especially just because we have a lot of shit to play. So I might not be the right person to ask. I'm sure there's a lot of Control fans out there that are like, hell yes. Like, my friends have been wanting to play Rainbow Six Siege, and maybe they're stoked about Extraction. Maybe they're stoked about Back 4 Blood, but I care about this universe. Hopefully I can bring them over here with me.
See, that's where I'm at, where for the games we have lined up that are these co-op PvE games, I'm super excited for Extraction. I'm super excited for Back 4 Blood. I'm super excited for Redfall. And these are all games that I don't know if I'm going to be playing for a whole year. Like, I think Extraction is going to be one that I play for maybe a week or two, and I'll come back to it depending on if my friends are playing it. The exact same thing as Back 4 Blood, and the exact same thing with Redfall. Like,
I'll take it back. Division 2 is probably the game that I put the most time in,
But like, then see, for Destiny and Division, I feel like those are games in the way that they're structured that demand more time from you. Those are games that want you to become obsessed with them and play with them for long periods of time, whereas for me, something like Ghost of Tsushima Legends, for example, was one that I got obsessed with for a few week period. Really enjoyed it, fell in love with it, but I've not gone back since because it didn't treat itself like an ongoing game. It didn't treat itself like a live game, and I think a lot of what that's going to come down to is its own support. This control thing I'm super excited about because I really like the world of Control. I think there are really interesting things you can do in the world of Control with multiplayer. You can make every single mission a different altered world event. You can do really cool things in terms of, hey, me and my 3 friends are fighting a fridge as a boss fight. Like that is how this thing goes down. And I think
about what you could do with combat, with just with just physics, right? Like throwing something at you, and then you have like a combined power that then launches that thing. I think there's a lot of cool stuff they can mess around with, but is it a sort of closed experience like you were mentioning with Ghost? Is it just a 6 to 8 hour thing and you're out? Or is it going to be something that they try to make sustainable for a long time?
Now, Andy, I got this Slack message that says, I sent you a gift on DoorDash. See my note in tracking here. And it's a link to tracking for what I assume might be a cake. Is that right, Greg Miller?
That's right, everybody. The cakes have been ordered. Whoa! Everybody will be getting their cakes tomorrow, Thursday, between 5 and 5:30, so that you can have it at least one slice still when it's go time on Friday for the episode.
Woo! Oh, yeah. What kind of cake is it?
Do you want this? You want me to ruin the surprises for everybody? I don't
know.
Don't ruin it.
Don't ruin it.
Okay.
Now, did you get extra cake with me for me?
Well, this is actually, I won't lie to you guys, all right? It all worked out in your favor. Because for Tim, in his area for a DoorDash, right? The best option was the cupcakes. He got cupcakes. Both you and Blessing got full cakes. So you have full cakes coming your way then.
Let's fucking go.
Oh, I didn't hear Andy in the...
Did you want one too? Like that? I mean, you were never a part of this conversation. Every time it was that Blessing was Blessing. Rewind the tape. Blessing said literally, "Hey, me and Tim need it for Friday," and then Kevin said, "Can I get one?"
I mean, the cake arbiter here.
Off the bench.
I feel like the cake arbiter is giving away cakes left and right. By the way, what's the deal with these flowers that you gave me? When do they become poisonous? When do they unleash?
It's just a cute mermaid gas to congratulate you on beating me at golf. Why is that so weird? I don't understand why this is. You got to make this into a thing.
Just don't trust it.
Andy, I know you don't want to say it, but I'll be the one to say it. I feel like Greg is trying to get back to you. Get back at you. I feel like
I'm trying to get back at him.
Ever since you beat him, ever since you beat him in Mario Golf, there have been these small chips. There have been these small small.
Blessing, I think you need to understand these are scheduled DoorDash orders. I can cancel them at any time.
Nah,
what I meant to say was that Greg is being an amazing boss right now by ordering us cake. Andy, you should have spoke up earlier. You should have said something.
Damn, my bad. I just thought everybody was getting cake. It's fine.
Andy, do you want me to? Here's the question. Andy, do you want me to order some cake or do you want me to order some baby carrots?
I don't. No, thank you. After yesterday's choking mishap, if you haven't watched Gamescast, I almost died 3 times yesterday on Gamescast. No, I'm good, Greg. It's just it's not about the cake, Greg. It's about like just wanting to send me a cake,
Here's the other thing, Andy. Here's what you want to know what Jen and I talk about in this house is that after her mom's coming to visit for the first time in like 2 years or whatever, like it's gonna be a big deal, COVID, all that jazz. But after that, we were saying this is legit. She said this. She hates everybody I work with. She's like, we got to get Andy over here and make him that shrimp linguine once.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, that really hurt me. Like that hurt real bad.
But she likes you a lot too. She always talks about you at the deck. She's a big Barrett fan too. Loves Tim, loves Nick, obviously. Talks about Joey. Cool Greg, one of her favorites. And Snow like Mike's comment in Paris. Gary.
Blessing, why was that so shocking that somebody's a fan of Barrett? What was that all about?
This is when you Blessing saw where the joke was going. He saw that it was going to be his detriment and immediately like alley-ooped it after Barrett to be an insult to Barrett before it could be an insult to Blessing. All right, go have a show about games. Bye.
Good times. There's this image that Remedy put out alongside talking about how they're doing this 4-player co-op game. That is four soldiers. Would you call them soldiers? I don't know like the official name for like the
they work guards. For the. It's like their version of the TVA. I forget what the name of their organization.
They work for the Bureau.
The Bureau of Control. Yeah.
And I saw somebody in chat mentioning that what's this going to do for powers? Are they going to have the telekinesis or whatever? And that's the question I have as well. I feel like it'd be crazy to not have the powers. You can't just give these guys guns, right? In a Control multiplayer game?
Damn, that's kind of true. Yeah, there's no way they can be powerless. Like, there's got to be some sort of abilities that they're showing off. That would suck if you're... There's no way. You can't just put soldiers into a game and expect people to get stoked about it. That's every other fucking game.
Yeah, and I think the way you get around it story-wise is that maybe each character class has a different ability to them, or like they've been affected by an anomaly or some shit and all of those reflect differently. Where one person has telekinesis, another person has, I don't know, healing powers, another person can fly. I think you get around it that way. I think you can find ways to give them powers if you really wanted that to happen. And so that's where I'm at with that. Andy, before we move on to the next news story, I want to let people know that, of course, Greg Miller, amazing boss, he's getting us cake and all that stuff, and it's great. The cake costs money. If you want to help Kinda Funny with the money that it takes to buy cake, you can go over to patreon.com/kindafunnygames, where you can also get the show ad-free. And speaking of ads, here's some ads.
This episode of Kinda Funny Games Daily is brought to you by Credit Karma. Credit Karma has always been there to help you make better financial decisions, and now they want to help you even more. With a Credit Karma money spend account, you can be rewarded for good money habits. When you use your Credit Karma money debit card, you can win daily instant Karma purchase reimbursements on items up to $5,000. Just pay with your debit card, and if you win, you'll be notified on the spot, and your instant Karma cash will be added back to your spend account. Right now, visit creditkarma.com/winmoney to open your free account and start winning instant Karma. Go to creditkarma.com/winmoney to sign up for free and start winning instant Karma. That's creditkarma.com/winmoney. Instant Karma is sponsored by Credit Karma. No purchase necessary. Exclusions and terms apply. See rules. Banking services provided by MVB Bank Incorporated, member FDIC. Maximum balance and transfer limits apply. Our next sponsor, ladies and gentlemen, why it's Freshly. Dinner time can be chaotic, but with Freshly, it's easy. Their chefs take care of your meals a few nights a week and take the pressure off of you. Freshly offers chef-made, nutrient-packed, delicious meals delivered fresh to your door, no cooking required. Your meals arrive cooked and fresh every week, so you can keep your fridge stocked and skip the trip to the store. Ordering is easy. Visit freshly.com and choose from over 30 delicious, satisfying, better-for-you meals like steak peppercorn, sausage baked penne, or chicken pesto bowls. Ladies and gentlemen, my father's birthday just came and went, and guess what I got him? A subscription to Freshly. Each and every week I go in and pick the 6 meals that'll be delivered to his door, and he loves them. They're easy. He doesn't have to think. He just gets to go home, pop the food in, and have a good night. Right now, Freshly is offering our listeners $40 off their first 2 orders when you go to freshly.com/games. Stop stressing about dinner. Go to freshly.com/games for $40 off your first 2 orders. That's freshly.com/games for $40 off your first 2 orders. And our final sponsor of the day is HelloFresh. HelloFresh cuts out stressful meal planning and grocery store trips so you can enjoy cooking and get dinner on the table in about 30 minutes. Try HelloFresh's quick and easy meals, 15 to 20-minute dinners, breakfast on the go, and more easy options that are perfect for your lifestyle. Of course, you know I love to cook, and one of the things that got me cooking, of course, was programs like this. You don't have to worry about going to the store. Everything comes to you. You make the meals you want. You learn some new cooking techniques. Ladies and gentlemen, you can go to hellofresh.com/KFGD14 and use the code KFGD14 for up to 14 free meals plus free shipping. That's hellofresh.com/KFGD14, and you can get 14 free meals plus free shipping. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit.
And I gotta compliment you on the recommendation of the hat. Every time I look back at myself in the monitor, I'm like, oh, you know what? This hat is actually doing it. This hat is actually doing this job. I like the way it looks too. I think I'm going to rock this as a style for a while.
Good.
I think I'm going with this. I'm going to do the polo look. All right, we're bringing it back. Story number 3. There's a new mystery id Software game rated in Australia. This comes from Matt Purslow at IGN. The Australian Classification Board has issued a rating for a new mystery id Software game known only as Project 2021B. While it is unclear what the game is, from the classification details on the rating website, we can see that id Software's game is a multi-platform title with online interactivity. See multiplayer of some description. It has been rated M for mature, with moderate impact when it comes to violence and mild impact for themes and language. As reported by VGC, this is the second time a mystery id Software game has been rated by the ACB. Earlier this year, the board rated Project 2021A, which eventually turned out to be Doom 3 VR, the edition for PSVR. Due to the short duration, it has been since last year's Doom Eternal. It is unlikely that id Software has a brand new game to release. As such, it's sensible to set expectations for Project 2021B around the likes of another re-release like Doom 3 VR. It was the 25th anniversary of Quake earlier this month, so read into that what you will. Andy, do you have any expectations of what this rated thing is? Do you expect just another VR game or a Quake thing?
It seems like it's going to be some sort of smaller offshoot. Possibly, yeah. Just I think they're pretty right on with that sort of Quake anniversary coming up. I don't think enough time has passed. Just like they mentioned in the article that yeah, Doom Eternal came out last year, so it's probably not another Doom game. You can kind of expect there to not be another Doom game. I'm just looking through their sort of catalog. I can't really think of any other IP that would just sort of magically be worked on that aren't already in progress that we sort of have heard from, you know? I don't, it just seems like it could be a smaller game that maybe, you know, won't interest a whole lot of people, but will have some sort of audience.
Yeah, some kind of Quake anniversary I think makes the most sense, especially given the naming scheme here, where the earlier one was Doom 3 VR. I think you just do another either like Quake VR or Quake re-release or some sort of thing to celebrate the anniversary. Makes sense. My follow-up question is, what do you think id Software does next? Because we got Doom 2016 or 2018. 2016. We got Doom 2016, which is fantastic. Time's a flat circle. We got Doom Eternal last year, which is also fantastic. And now they're under Microsoft. Do you expect for the next thing to be Doom 3? Or do you, like, not even expect, what do you want from id Software? Do you want them to do something different, new, or keep working on that Doom?
I don't see why they make anything else that isn't Doom, unless it just comes down to what the company wants to make and whether they are bored of the IP and whether they just want to try out something new. I don't see why you sort of mess with that. I still think there are ways to kind of keep that franchise fresh in the way that when it came out in 2016, it was this sort of revelation of holy shit, like this game is so self-aware of what it is, and how do you make a Doom, how's a Doom 2016 game gonna look? Like there's no way a game like that could work. And they made it work, and they made it this ultra violent gore fest. So I would like for them to keep on making Doom. I downloaded Doom last night, Doom Eternal, because that new ray tracing update came out. And holy shit, the id Tech 7 engine is just
it's
way too good, and everything needs to run on it from here on forth. From here on out. From here on forth, is that right? Kevin, can I get a ruling on that? Can I get a ruling on that?
One more time.
Rather.
From here on forth, does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. I don't see why they don't keep on making Doom. We love Doom. It works. It's fun as hell. Unless there's some others.
There's Rage as well, which came out a few years ago that wasn't as highly regarded as Doom, but you know, maybe to give another crack at it. You know, out of those two, I would prefer more Doom, because Doom is
Rage is fine.
They've got Doom down. They know how to make a Doom game. If anything, coming off of Doom 2016 and making Doom Eternal, probably my one problem with Doom Eternal was that it felt like it didn't step up enough from Doom 2016. Like, it felt like Doom 2016, and Doom 2016 to me is such a perfect game that the thing that they ran into was, all right, how do we iterate on something that works pristinely? And their answer was, all right, let's add platforming, I guess. And the platforming, I think, didn't add too much to it. Like, it helped break up the action a bit, but I don't think that was the next step for Doom. And for them, I'd want to see what the next step for Doom is and what that looks like.
Just to clarify, Rage 2 was also co-developed by Avalanche. It was more more of an Avalanche project than it was an id Software project.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if, like, for Rage, we're coming back to this thing, right? Like, it could be a next gen PS5 version of the Rage game we just got. You know, I think that would probably fall in line in terms of this is doable, and this works on a timeline, and why not put this thing out again that we've just made that we want to sell more of, because maybe it didn't sell as well as they hoped for.
And it'll definitely run better, and it'll be prettier, and Rage is such a weird game, because I forget what that time was like. Like, I barely remember what happened in 2018, and I remember playing a lot of Rage, but just kind of never quite feeling like I loved it. But I was just playing it in hopes that I got the high that maybe Doom gave me. The powers are really fun, but I don't know. Maybe they iterate on that, or maybe it is just a Rage 2 re-release. That would be kind of neat. I would rather have that than Quake. I know that's kind of wild, because there's honestly, a lot of hardcore Quake fans out there.
Rage 2 running in performance mode could be really cool. I would try the game out for that. I totally skipped Rage 2 because I waited on reviews for that one, and the reviews just weren't as immaculate as I wanted them to be. So I was like, you know what, man, I'll pass on this one. But I'll for sure try it out if it came out on next gen, because I'm always down for a super smooth software game, especially if you're going to add next gen stuff to it and performance mode and all that stuff. Also, Andy, what if I told you that Rage 2 came out in 2019? It feels like that game came out so long ago, but it came
they
out
announced it in 2018.
2
My
years
bad.
ago.
I read it wrong. My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels like a lifetime ago because Nick Scarpino was playing that game, and I think that was the final game he played until Call of Duty Warzone.
How's Valorant going with him? Have you played since we played on stream?
We played on stream. We played on stream yesterday.
Is he still digging it? Is he still in it?
Yeah, a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun yesterday. We got our butts kicked, but every death is a lesson. Every death is a lesson, Bless. If you're dying in Valorant, why'd you die? Let's figure out why you died there.
What's the
Were you
reason?
peeking too much? Were you maybe
peeking?
trying
Were
to
you
challenge
moving while
two
shooting?
people? Yeah, there's always a lesson to be learned, everybody.
Hell yeah. Let's round out the Roper Report with story number 4. The Persona series has hit 15 million units sold worldwide. This is from Sean Murray at The Gamer. Atlas is publishing its year-end financial statements a little later than most other companies, but the Persona developer at least has some big numbers to report. As of the financial year ending March 31st, 2021, the Persona franchise as a whole has sold 15 million units. Persona Central reports that that number was just 13.1 million back in March 2020, which is a value that includes burgeoning digital sales as a result of the pandemic. Persona 5 Royal sold 1.8 million copies since its release in Japan back in October 2019, while Persona 4 Golden sold 900,000 units on PC since releasing on Steam in June 2020. Combined with the 1.5 million units of Persona 4 Golden sold on PlayStation Vita, that brings Persona 4 Golden to 2.4 million units sold overall. Persona 5 Strikers is another big winner in the updated financial results. As of April, the game sold 1.3 million units after being on sale for just 2 months. The Muso style game, The Muso style game was developed by Koei Tecmo's Omega Force, the same developer that brought us Hyrule Warriors and the famous Dynasty Warriors franchise. Persona and Yakuza are Sega's biggest franchises at the moment, sales of which kept the publisher afloat over the past year. Persona 5 Strikers and Yakuza Like a Dragon helped push game sales up 46% overall for the company, although gaming division sales were still down 12% due to falling arcade revenues and closed stores. This is a really interesting story. I think the big thing to note here for me would be how much Persona 4 Golden sold on PC since its Vita launch, because as to reiterate it, it sold 1.5 million units on the Vita. It sold 900,000 units on PC, and that's since June 2020. Persona 4 Golden, one of my favorite games ever made. It still shocks me to be reminded how few people played it because the Vita just didn't sell like crazy. And so only 1.5 million people got their hands on that game, and to see it come to PC and sell that much more, I think is really impressive. And I'm sure for Atlas will make them go, oh shoot, we should probably release more multi-platform games.
Yeah, this could be sort of that eye-opening moment for them. That's a lot of units on PC. I'm pretty shocked by that. I remember when that was going down, and there was a lot of people super excited that they could play on PC, and maybe with, not that it's not a remaster by any means, but maybe play with some small and slight enhancements to the game. 900,000 is no small feat, especially when the game is already loved as much as it was, and 1.5 million was the number that they were trying to catch,
it's over
and it
half
almost
of the people that bought it before.
Yeah,
like over half of people are over half of an amount more people are playing your game now, which is crazy.
I hope this not only shows. I hope this is a bigger thing for the whole industry. I hope they see how releasing on PC as well can also have some really good things come from it. Obviously just money, but getting the name out there more. And there are a lot of units that you could sell out there in the industry, there's a lot more units that you could sell out on the internet, on PC, on Steam, on the Epic Games Store, on Origin or whatever. But you know what I mean? Like, I think this is not only huge for Persona and Sega, but just huge for the industry. And I hope more people take note of this.
Yeah, and I think it's cool to note too that Persona and Yakuza are Sega's biggest franchises right now, and they are essentially keeping the publisher afloat with their sales, which is really impressive. Like it's been really cool to see
People love
the
that
rise
Yakuza,
of
man.
both Persona and Yakuza. Yeah, dude, especially in recent years with what feels like a billion Yakuza games releasing, the amount of love that fan base is getting, I envy it, man. Like people are, if you're a Yakuza fan, you're eating right now because you're getting so many games. You're getting Lost Judgment, which I know isn't a Yakuza game, but it's very similar. You're getting that later this year, and
Yeah, I know.
it feels like you have something to look forward to yearly if you're a Yakuza fan.
It could just be because, listening to podcasts that I always knew of people that love the Persona series. And mainly like Greg mentioning Persona 4 Golden back in the days, listening to Beyond, and Andrew Goldfarb was always a big fan of Persona 4 Golden, and it had its audience amongst people that I didn't really expect it to have an audience with. But I feel like Yakuza never fully had that. And again, it could just be the people that I'm listening to and podcasts and articles that I'm reading. But I feel like Yakuza has had a pretty big resurgence amongst people in the Western audience that you would have maybe never thought that they're going to become a Yakuza fan. And then they give it a shot, and then it's sort of, word of mouth spreads, and suddenly you have this whole new audience discovering it. So I think it's fantastic for Sega.
Yeah, and for Persona, I really hope that speaks to more spin-offs. And I'm sure it is going to speak to more spin-offs. Like, give me a Persona 5 fighting game. Give me give me a Persona 5 kart racing game. I'll take whatever I can get. I still need to go back and play Strikers. Like, for me as a Persona fan, I feel like I'm in a similar place where I have more Persona that I can realistically play. Right? I put in. Combined with Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal, that's over 200 hours, maybe over 250 hours of just that same game being played, let alone Strikers, which is probably going to add in another 30 to 40 hours by the time I finally get to that. And, they release Persona games fairly regularly to some extent. We got the Persona dancing games as well. We got them even re-released on the on PS4, right? The Persona 4 dancing game released on PS4. And so keep giving them to me. I'll eat them up. Put more Persona characters in Smash. Fuck it. Give me all the Persona. But Andy, a new Persona spinoff is probably just so far away. If I wanted what's coming out to mom and pop shops today, where would I go?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform as listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily Show hosts each and every weekday.
Yeah.
Out today, we got Zombies Ate My Neighbors and Ghoul Patrol for the PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. What fucking year is it? We got Wonder Boy, Asha in Monster World for PC, Curved Space for PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, and PC. Sky Children of Light, of course, that is what's the name of the developer? Journey, Flower,
That game company?
That game company, yeah. Is that? I love how I can't remember the name of that game company. That is their game that was released on mobile earlier, but now coming out on Switch. We got Doom Eternal coming out on PS5, Xbox Series X. Disgaea 6 Defiance of Destiny out today on Switch. Onirike for Xbox One, Switch, PC, and Mac. And then Destroy All Humans is out today on Switch. We got one deal of the day for you, and that is PS Plus games for July. They have been revealed. You're getting A Plague Tale Innocence on the PS5, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 for the PS4, and WWE 2K Battlegrounds for the PS4. Andy, I forgot that game came out. Do you remember Battlegrounds, the WWE game?
That's the one with the weird-ass character models.
Yeah, where they skipped a traditional WWE game, did a Battlegrounds game, and I didn't hear anybody talk about it. I didn't hear one person talk about that game.
They should have just made them look like Fortnite characters. They looked odd. Was not a fan of that art style.
Now, I'm getting a live you're wrong here that's saying this is yesterday's list. And you guys are absolutely correct for out today. So let me redo that. Of course, those are all games that have been out. Go play those games, I guess. For Wednesdays out today, you're getting Doki Doki Literature Club Plus for PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Ark and the Dog Adventure for Xbox One and Switch. Imp of the Sun for PC. Greedfall for PS5, Xbox Series X. Ty the Tasmanian Tiger 2, Bush Rescue HD for PS4.
Rescue George Bush.
Rescue George W.
Tiger.
Warhammer 40k Space Wolf for Xbox One. A Tale of Synapse, the Chaos Theories. There's a new Warhammer game that comes out monthly. Like, didn't we just get the Necromunda Hired Gun last month? Isn't that a Warhammer game?
I just never know. I just never know what any of it's about, and I don't want to know. Don't tell me.
Then you got Snake It Till You Make It out today for Switch. Anna's Quest for Switch. And then Mina and Michi is out today for Switch. And then did the deals of the day. Of course, you can go over to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, where you can write in with your questions, and you can also write in with your gamer confessions, just like JoshyG did. JoshyG writes in and says, "Video game confession. I've never played a Metal Gear game. No idea why not. I love stealth games. Forgive me, Kojima." Andy, what do you have to say to that?
Well, I mean, there's no excuse if you love stealth games. The only reason to not play it is if you aren't into that genre. If that genre has never really been your thing, then I understand that. But if you love stealth games, look, there's not a whole lot of stealth games coming out nowadays. Like there's always sort of stealth involved in more modern games, where you do have to sneak through a bush to do a mission. You have to rescue Bush as well, just like the Tasmanian tiger or whatever. I think that if you love stealth games, you owe it to yourself to play this franchise. Find the best way to play it. Ask on the subreddit or Twitter or whatever what the best ways would be to play it, because I'm sure certain ROMs here are better. I'm sure if you download the collector's edition or the remastered collection, the one that was on Vita, might be the best. I remember back in the day, like I was gonna buy the PS Vita TV so that I could play the remastered collection on my TV. There's got to be a best way to play each version of it, and I think you should seek that out and do yourself a favor, because it is one of, if not my favorite video game franchises. It is so goofy and over the top and amazing in every way.
I'm right there with you, and I think Metal Gear Solid is probably one of the rare video game franchises where I'd say the old games do hold up. A few years ago, I went back and played Metal Gear Solid 3 because I think I got it off of Game Pass. I don't know if I don't know if it's still on Game Pass. Maybe write in the kindoffunny.com/you're-wrong if it is or if it isn't. But I played it. I went back to play it a few years ago, and I was shocked by how easy it still was to play. Like the story, of course, it's magnificent. The characters are great. You gotta love Colonel Volgin. You gotta love all the characters.
Colonel Galukovich. Huh.
Oh my god. So many memories tied up in Metal Gear Solid 3. And again, like it's one of my favorite games ever. And I'd say it's one that's worth playing. I'd say the Metal Gear franchise is worth playing. But for JoshyG, for you as a stealth fan, if you're like, I don't have the time to jump into all these games in a series, and you just want a banger stealth game, Metal Gear Solid 5 is maybe the best stealth game I've ever played. Like it is magnificent in the ways that it balances its systems, and the way that it grants you freedom, and the way that it reacts to you as you play. Like the story is messy here and there, and it is nonsensical in the way
it's
that
also missing a third act.
It is also missing a third act, but I think as a video game, that shit is fucking fire.
Like the way that it all sort of like connects at the end, and like it's the coolest. Collecting soldiers like their Pokemon and being like, that's an A rank dude. Oh shit. Oh, but that dude's an S rank, and he's really good at cooking, or I forgot what the fucking professions that they had when you would bring him back to Mother Base. Yeah. It's so great. So great.
It's so good. And so I would say, JoshyG, you gotta try out Metal Gear. And there's reasons to try out any one of them. But if you want a modern one, and if you want a good stealth game, Metal Gear Solid 5, I would say is the way to go. Of course, you can go over to kindoffunny.com/you're-wrong. That's where you write in, let us know what we got wrong as we got it wrong, so we can correct it for those watching later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames and listening later on podcast services around the globe. We only got a couple. Pup and Suds writes in and says, although the story of Silent Hill is not real, the location it's based off of is. I live by it and have visited it, Centralia, Pennsylvania. This place has had a fire burning underneath the ground for about 50 years. And
I'm sorry?
Links to a Wikipedia article. Yeah, I don't know what that means.
What?
Hold on. I'm opening up the Wikipedia article because that sounds like one of those stories that you hear and you're like, certainly that can't be real. But you look it up and you're like, what the fuck?
Where they're like,
Snowbike Mike mentioned that Cleveland's rivers catch on fire the other day.
Yeah, and they do.
Are there lakes?
We found that. The rivers.
I went to this Wikipedia article and I control F'd fire. And there are 67 instances of fire being mentioned in this Wikipedia article. I might not be able to give you an accurate.
But there's a bunch of stuff where it's like they've made a cave, and then in the cave they realized, methane gas is leaking. Okay, we'll light a fire and that'll burn it all off. And instead, the cave's on fire for 50 or 60 years. And then if you're Russia, they're like, let's nuke it. That'll fix the problem. It didn't.
Jesus.
That's terrifying. Yeah, people in chat there's a few people that are like, oh, it's true. Somebody's saying that it's natural gas and they can't extinguish it. Dude, that's
What the fuck?
That's crazy.
Like,
That's
we should
cool.
worry about. Should we worry about this? Like,
yeah, there's just a fire that we can't put out. That sounds like something we should deal with. I don't know. That sounds scary.
By the way, I'm also worried about these aliens. Like, we worried about that?
The report.
I mean, we should also worry about the aliens too. I don't know if you guys seen Avengers, but like things don't go well if you don't deal with the aliens. Our suit of armor around the globe. Am I right, guys?
We'll put a sewer armor around the world.
Hell yeah.
Robert Downey Jr.
We got one more year wrong from Cade11 who writes in and says, so frequently I hear people say Ghosts of Tsushima plural when it's ghost singular. A minor thing, but it's still slightly irritating. Have a good day. Whenever I say, and whenever I've heard people say it on the shows, I've always said it ghost singular, and I've always heard it ghost, but sometimes I can put like a weird inflection on things. So if it sounds like ghosts, know that I really mean ghost.
Ghosts of Tsushima. It also just depends on if you're in a rush of saying it. Ghosts of Tsushima, like it could kind of just blur
Ghosts
together. Tsushima.
Language is difficult every now and then.
Yeah.
Also, that's what they should have called the co-op mode. Ghosts of Tsushima.
Nah,
that probably would have been confusing.
SEO, not great.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right about that. Tomorrow's hosts for Kind of Funny Games Daily are Greg and Tim. If you're watching this live on Twitch right now, after this is that Mario Golf stream featuring Mike, Greg, and Game Attack. So get hyped for that. Remember, this has been Kind of Funny Games Daily, each and every weekday live right here on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. We have a Patreon post show for those that are subbed at the silver level of patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. So stick around for that. Otherwise, until next time, Game Daily.